Never again. Never again. Today, we commemorate International Holocaust Remembrance Day. We remember the 6 million Jewish people who were murdered brutally in the Holocaust, and over 1.1 million people murdered at Auschwitz. We stand up against anti-Semitism. We remember the Holocaust forever.
Personally, my wife and I stood at Auschwitz just over a year ago, and in solemn reflection, I thought of the Christian community's responsibility. We have a responsibility to stand up and be heard and to intervene. That is our commitment to you, that we will stand with all those who would face anti-Semitism, who would face racism, and let our voices and our actions be seen and heard.
As Pope Francis said just recently, we all have a duty to remember. And in that sense, Argentina's school system, I'm pleased to say, has made the Holocaust integral part of its mainstream studies. And I think that's a step in the very right direction if we're never to forget.
One of the challenges that we have right now is that the survivors of the Holocaust are very old. And when they are gone, we need to make sure that we continue to remember.
Almost 80% of Greek Jews perished, and in certain areas that percentage was even higher, especially in Thessaloniki, for instance. This morning, our Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, attended the ceremony in Auschwitz and laid a wreath in the memory of the many victims that were lost. On this day, we vow to remember and never ever let this happen again.
I wish I could say that the remembrance of the Holocaust has made us immune against the evil of anti-Semitism. But when Jewish children are spat on in a schoolyard, and when only a thick wooden door prevents a right-wing terrorist from killing dozens of Jews in a synagogue in the city of Halle, on Yom Kippur, the fight against anti-Semitism is not over. To quote our Minister of State, Ms. Michelle Müntefering, the Holocaust is the historical responsibility that we Germans bear. A world that remembers the Holocaust, a world without genocide, that is our moral compass.
Good people everywhere need to be very clear in their conviction and their commitment to stomp out hatred, however it manifests itself.
We have to reaffirm ourselves to fight anti-Semitism.
This is a subject that all of us agree upon. No matter where you're coming from and what sort of Jewish background you have, the need to internalize the lessons of the Shoah and the urgency of making sure that that cry of never forget is not just about remembering history, but remembering why hatred comes into the world, the need to combat it wherever we see it, going forward into the future.
The Salvation Army has a long history of standing with those who are oppressed. For me, on a personal level, this day is important because it's important that we remember the names and the stories of Holocaust survivors and their families.
I come from a family of Holocaust survivors. My four grandparents were all Holocaust survivors and lost about 200 relatives, members of their families during the war. As an Israeli diplomat, as a representative of the State of Israel, I'm honored to lead and support this initiative of recognizing International Holocaust Remembrance Day. This is an initiative that was led by Israeli diplomats, my colleagues at the UN in 2005, and I'm glad to give my share and to support this very important initiative in educating and making sure that the Holocaust will never happen again.